The date is August the 3rd, 1983. I'm Jeff LePage and I will be interviewing Mr. Edward Fitzgerald of Somerset Manor in Summerside.
So, as I can remember still, I could tell you many things that was told me and years ago, you know, my mind is not quite good. I'm 95 years old now.
Oh, yes, well.
So, anyway, they arrived here in 1857, the Fitzgerald family, you know. Well, grandfather, he came to New York. You see, at that time, you know the history of the island here, when they were surveying the lands, you know. This was, England had been in some war. I forget the war now. And it was badly, it set them back. Money mattered, and see, they had to pay their army officers with lands. And when the country here, Prince Edward, was divided up, surveyed, each one got a lot. That's why that's divided in lots. Lot 1, 2, 3.
Right, the 67.
Yeah, exactly. So they came, my father and grandmother. He came to New York, and he had another brother had came to the island before that, and he's been writing to the grandfather in New York, telling him how cheaply land could be bought, you see, at that time. So he came down here, and they bought some lands up west there. Then the others came in 1857. They came in one of Yo's ships. There's a Yo, police build ships here.
That was he the fellow up near Foxton River, around that? Around Foxton River area?
Yes.
Around that area.
Yes, and there's a place down there still called Green Park.
Yeah.
Well, the house is still in existence. I think they kept it in repair.
I see.
But anyway, that's where they landed. There were 7 weeks crossing the ocean. Didn't know where they were coming. I just go by chance. Well, they arrived here anyway, and they took up lands and up in Waterford. So Waterford got that name. They had a meeting, a school meeting then, and the school teacher, this called the master in school, McGraw was his name, and he was chairman of the meeting, and the vote was equal on it. He gave the casting vote, and he named the place he came from in Ireland, right. Waterford. That's where they came from.
That's how they got it.
That's how the name came. But anyway, he lived there. We farmed and fished, and built boats. And we were all carpenters or tradesmen of some kind. He could do anything from it. Make sails, you know, and draft out a sail, put the right amount of canvas out as needed in it, and all that kind of work. He was a shoemaker too. And he had a cousin. Probably this don't amount to anything what I'm telling you, but it's true anyway. He had a cousin, had a farm right down near North Cape. It was the next farm to North Cape. And there's a terrible reef there, runs away far, and many of the ship was wrecked there. And there'd be bodies land sometime. And there was a man lived right next to him. He used to get up very early in the morning, go around the shore, see what he'd find, a kind of a beach comber. So, this Jim, they call him Norway Jim because he lived in Norway, see? Right. Because there are other Jim Fitzgeralds, but this was, he lived in Norway, they call him Norway Jim, how we will distinguish from them. Anyway, he thought he'd have some fun. He was all that some tricks like that. He was making a pair of boots, had just finished these boots for himself, you know. They were come up to the knees for fishing usually. Oh, they were well made. I wore them in my time. But he went down to the shore. This fellow be down at daybreak to see what he'd find along these reefs. So Jim went down, and there's a whole lot of seaweed had landed that night. He covered himself up in the seaweed, and he just left the new boots, out of the seaweed. And he saw the man coming along. So, the fellow said to himself, a new pair of boots. He thought they were on a dead body, you know. So he turned around and got one of the boots between his knees and pulled off, and Jim pulled the other foot back and gave him more kick. He got it off a fright, so he didn't bother going to the shore for a few days at least when he was caught. But there were many funny things happen like that in the course of time. But it was quite a thing, you know, to cross the ocean in just a sailing ship. And you'd have heat nowadays, especially, and it was just, well, to get rid of the famine that was going on in Ireland. That lasted for many years, you know, the famine. And at the same time, Ireland was an exporting country. If you read much history, you'd see how much was exported during the famine, and the people starving by the thousands. You know, that's true. And anyway, they lived. Father's name, grandfather's name was Fitzgerald, and grandmother's name was Fitzgerald also. No relation at all, but they're doing. Same name. Yeah. And we had father had a large family. There were 14 of us, 7 boys, 7 girls. And there's just myself and my sister living now out of the 14. But they all lived to be, none of them died young. The youngest I know was Anne. She was in, I think, 68 or something like that. All the others are up to the 80s. And my mother, she was 11 years younger than father. He died at 88. She lived till she was 88. And grandmother was 88. I remember all those, you know. Yeah. Myself. Right. But that's not interesting history for you. But anyway, there were lots of Irish families in there, especially around Kildare. I think that's got the name from the Irish. From the Irish. From the Irish, because that's that place in Ireland called Kildare. Right. But there's Foley's and different names like that. Oh. And they're still around Tignish. They still have some of the old names. Hanrahan, it was an Irish name too. And McHugh. Now the name that McHugh, some of them I know is for MCCUE, but whether that name was MCHUGH, I'm not sure of it. Right. But they both. But I saw both names.
Yeah. So it could be.
It could be, you know, McHugh. And then O'Brien. Oh, there's many an Irish name.
Do you have a few stories from your own childhood, or stories that your father might have told you?
Oh, well, they used to tell us about the famine a lot. You know, it was terrible severe. Grandmother used to tell us a story. Oh, she used to make the stories at all. We knew she was telling the truth, you know. They'd go, nothing to eat, you know. They'd go along there was a reef around the shore, whatever, and they'd go looking for birds' eggs, you know, to see if that would they'd find. But anyway, there was an extra low tide one day, whether it was caused by of course she wouldn't know, whether it was caused by an earthquake, you know, and the tide was and they discovered some reefs that they had never seen before. And she was, just a young girl then, but quite smart. In one of these little caves that the tide had left there, you know, she discovered a crock home at that point, full of gold. But that is now, it was gold, she called them little pigs. They're in the shape of animals. She called them little pigs. So she never told the rest, you know. So when the tide came in, that ended. that ended the gold. But this is the truth. Now, we were asking Professor Clark at one time. We were telling him this because Father knew it to be true too. He said, yes, the Spanish, sometimes the Spanish pirates used hide gold like that sometimes. And he said they did have some of it in the form of animals. So. Yeah,
that's interesting. That's just crazy. So, when your father came over, or did you, where did you build exactly? That was in Waterford, was it? Or?
In Waterford, yes.
Is the house, would the house still be around, or?
No, the house is gone. It likely was a log house first. But the next one, the next house, that's when I was born in. There's one exactly like it where my aunt lived. She was married to a Richard Elwood. It was exactly identical like that. Inside and out. And it was the same size too. I remember the house well. But it's likely had a log house first, you know. Because there was nothing but lumber growing when they left. And especially cedar and pines. But there was a big fire came, you see, after that took the log house and the lumber with it. It knocked a lot of it down because it was all green, the lumber. But when that fire passed, the lumber fell down, it was killed. Well, then another fire came years after that and burned up them dry. That's the one that ruined the land there. See, it burnt the soil completely.
Yeah, it went right into the soil, no protection.
That's right. There was another neighbours. They came from the old country, Kennedys. They had to go down on the shore to escape the fire. Their log house was afire, and then no place to go. The whole country was afire, you know. Yeah. And they had to go down on the shore, right, by the sea to escape it. Oh, just pity.
I suppose there was lots of superstition in your family?
Oh, quite a bit, oh yes.
Do you have any stories about ghosts and
we're brought up on that, you might say.
Right.
But some of them were hard to explain to.
Right. Well, tell me a few.
Well, I'll tell you one that I was witness to, and that would be my father. You know, he was good to repair any clocks and that he could do. He was almost a jack of all trades.
Right.
But anyway, there's a man there brought a clock. I don't know if you ever saw one. They stood about that high.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't the grandfather clock, you know, not that. But their weights, you stried them, you know. You'd wind up these two weights, one for the striking there, and the other for the time, for swinging the pendulum. You'd wind them up every 24 hours. Well, that was at a ward, and this man brought it down to him. At that time, just that time, Father had to go over to New Brunswick. We were building a barn then to get some lumber, you know. The school was just across from Mimminagash there. So he went over, and he was away this night. We're all home, all your mother was there, all my sisters and brothers were living in the house. This old clock was in a room, shoved in under a bed. Well, now, that's good. Yeah. Now, there was the shape of the clock, I'd say. And the weights, one was here, one here. You'd wind them up. Well, now, if that was on its back like it was, it couldn't possibly strike, could it?
No.
The weights would be down here.
Right.
That's our clock home. We had a striking clock there. It struck 10. Just as it had done this one started. There were no other clocks in the house. No, if anyone could explain that, I don't know. I can't.
Right.
But that happened because we all heard it. You know, we remembered it.
I see.
That was a kind of a ghosty one. But what made it strike? And when he come home, then he repaired it. There's some little thing wrong with it, but it couldn't strike, and it lying down on his back. It was standing up well, and the weight's not quite. Wonder whether there'd be a possibility it would strike, even though it has stopped. But no, it was down flat on its back, just like that.
No way it could strike it off.
No, that was an impossibility, but yes, it did. We all heard it, right?
How about some of your own superstitions yourself that you might have held on to, or your father's? Was there anything like wouldn't walk under ladders or anything like that?
Oh, no, there's none of that. But the people now, I remember, it was Uncle John, that was my mother's brother. He used to see things. One time he lived about 13 miles from us. His father was living down at Waterford with another brother. And Uncle John was piling on some boards. He had some boards ripped up, you know. He would say, "Hall gonna repile them or put them in somewhere. And when he went to lift up, after he got on the foot, when he went to lift up a few boards, he was his father at the other end of it. He'd help him. So, John, he stopped piling the board. He hitched up his horse, drove down the water. His father was dead. 13 miles from him. Really, you'd have to believe something, because he wasn't much for telling foolish stories, at all. And we used to have great fun with him when he came down. He was called old Uncle John, but he wasn't old. We said, "You're not old. He was born on the 29th of February, you see." Right. He'd have a birthday every 4 years. Right. But I wish I could remember some of the more, useful things to tell you.
Oh, anything would be fine. Anything you can remember about your life back when you were young, like how was the schooling back then, and church and all that?
Oh, well, at the school, we had the little country schools. One teacher to handle, as many would come to school. She was one teacher. There were no such thing as grades, There were books, from the primer, first primer, second and first book, up to the 6th book, see? Right. And then we teach it. We had lots of fun going to school. The school wasn't far from the shore. And at dinner hour, we did eat our lunch on our way to the shore to have to swim. Right. Coming back then, called to the swamps and have the feed of gooseberries. But you had to be on time. You couldn't be late for school. Right. That was a very strict order.
Couldn't be late for school.
Oh, that was fun. But then they had a kind of a custom. If anyone died, there was no vacation. Only 3 weeks in October, that's all. You go winter and summer, apart from that, every day. Only Sunday, Saturday. But we discovered a way we could have. And then if a person, whether it was a baby or who died in the district, that meant a holiday for us. We were kind of pleased with the fear of it. But anyway, there was another, we discovered another way. The school was heated just by one of them, what they call a pot-bellied stove.
Right, I know.
And the pipe, big long pipe, and into the chimney and then. Well, sometimes that pipe would fall down, Well, with a little help, it would fall. Yeah. Sometimes there was fully a half holiday for us. Right. Was a trustee for a repair.
Okay.
And then we had lots of exercise too, and we never got, although we had no rink, the hollows in the ceiling would be full of ice, just as smooth as that, Mm-hmm. Every fellow had his pair of skates, Mm-hmm. So it was great.
How about church? Was church must have been fairly important in your life, wasn't it?
Oh, the church, I remember when the church was built there. Mm-hmm. The one was built on the Palmer Road, so you had a kind of a centre place for the whole. What they call the parish,
right.
Right. Oh yeah. And we'd go there every Sunday, of course, and all funerals. We'd take them there. The burying ground was, it was likely donated by some of the farmers, because it's right close to the church there.
Was there much Gaelic spoken?
Oh, yes. Now, grandmother, that was her. Of course, she'd speak Gaelic. But there's always was speaking Gaelic to us, because my brothers were little lad, and we taught her just making these words. But there was a MacDonald family came from Cape Breton. They speak the Gaelic. And now, although he was Scotch, she could understand and he could understand her. There's just a kind of a difference in the accent, the two. The Gaelic. And then there was some people had come out from the old country. There was a Mrs. Costin, I think her name was Mansfield, right from Shearer, right from Ireland, and Mrs. Breen. They'd speak the Gaelic. When they'd come, we had a great fun listening to them at the Gaelic.
Did you yourself ever speak it? Or?
Oh no, but we picked up the odd word, you know.
So, how would your parents have come to meet? Would they have met in Ireland sometime?
Oh no. See, mother wasn't born now. She was born here, but all her crowd, McKenna was her name. All her crowd came from the whole country. You know, her father, mother,
Was there any special way they came to meet, like your mother and father? Or?
Well, no, I never. If they were, I never heard of any. Else I've forgotten it one way. But this often sting at that, you know. See, when I was young, we wouldn't be interested in that as much as we were. There, the trouble and all dates. Anything that happened, all to do was ask father. Oh, he'd have it right. But we weren't interested in a whole lot of stuff when we were young. But that's the way. That's too bad, you know.
You had other things to occupy your mind.
Oh, exactly.
I heard of a lot of, they used to have socials, like tea socials and things like that.
Oh, yes.
Burn dances.
Oh, yes.
What were they like?
Well, there was hardly a house, but someone at that place could play music on some instrument, you know.
Right.
And the crowd had gathered there, you know. There'd be a dance every night of the week. Not at the same house, but
no.
whoever had the room and of that.
Right.
And the old dances, there were no stiff dances. They played the jigs, hornpipes, reels, and strathspils, you know, all them kind of tunes. And then they had a kind of a dance they called the Lancers. They don't know anything about that now at all. That was a lovely dance. And, you know, there were certain tunes had to be played for that. Oh, that anyone who just watched it, the marvel at the time the dancers could keep.
Right.
Oh, look here, it was good. And exercise. And then they used to have frolics, they call frolics. They have what I call a spinning frolic. You know, everyone had sheep. And they'd get that wool carded in rolls over the size of my finger. They call them rolls, that long. Then in the barn, they'd have a spinning frolic. Clean out the barns. There'd be a crowd of girls there. Some of them have the big wheels, you know. Father made some of them big wheels, by the way. There's one great big wheel, but the others were driven at the foot. But these just give them a whirl like that and they'd spin. And stretch out these rolls and splice the wheels and marvel at that, how they could just catch when they have more. Then the spindle, you'd let all the yarn that was spun to the proper size, run up on a spindle, see, then splice another roll on. Well, they'd spin all day at that work, then the dance at night.
I see. So they'd break kind of.
Oh, yes. And they'd have frolics, they call them. Clearing land, too. That meant a dance, too.
I suppose when a building went up or something like that.
Oh, yes, putting up a building. You see, at that time they used to put the building up different from they do now. They'd mortise all the frame together, you see. Not all the frame together, but the walls and ends and the walls. Then they all mortised in the wall plate. Then the crowd would come to a barn raising, they'd call it. They'd stand up these and put them in the place. And the rafters were mortised down in the wall plates. And look here, look, if them had been put on concrete foundations in buildings, they'd be up today.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But they just put wooden blocks onto them for, you know, and they'd rot out in the course of time. And then the building would twist it. Oh, but it'd never blow down.
No.
They're pinned, the morse, the tight feet in the morse, that'd be driven in with a heavy hammer. Then a pin, a hardwood pin, would go to hold that in.
Never fall apart.
Oh, it couldn't, impossible. Impossible.
So anything that, like an arranged marriage or that you've heard of, or arranged on the boat kind of coming over, that kind of thing that you heard of in your family or in others? Unusual courtships or something like that? Or
There were a lot of them, really. I know, that's so long. My memory is not as good as it used to be. There was one fellow came across. No, he was a sailor. That's what it was. I thought he landed here on a wrecked vessel, but no, I was asking Father. No, Father said he was aboard a ship, a sailor. And Paddy McHugh, his name was. Irish Paddy, they just called him. So, he was...
Oh, excuse me.
He was on the ship a long while now. He got to be a quite a sailor. And then, his shirt got very dirty. And the mates told me, he said, tow it overboard. That's it, to wash it, tie a line on it and drag it behind the ship. Tow it. So Paddy thought he told him to throw it over. They took the shirt off and fired it overboard. And the mate had given him one of his to wear, but the other didn't wash it. So, after a while, the mate said, where's your shirt? Shirt's gone, he said. So the mate saw right at once what he had done. But then, when he came to the island, then he lived on the island down Norway, yeah. The people down there, though, the people just tease him. They used to say, it wasn't hard to get him across, you know. They used to say about the shirt, that Paddy wanted the mate to take the ship and go and look for the shirt in that landing, you know. He took the coat off for fun.
Didn't take much.
No.
Is there anybody that went on to become fairly well known in your family, or like famous, or like a doctor or something?
Well,
along that line?
not just in our family, but the ones before that. Now there was a judge, Fitzgerald, a Supreme Court judge in Charlotte. He was elected.
I see.
Yeah, because the father knew them well, you know.
Right. Could there be anyone else along the line?
Now, we have another judge, Fitzgerald. Now, I'm his uncle.
Oh,
he's one of my brother's children. He's one of their children.
Great. I see.
He took a trip here to Ireland, and he's gone back now again. He'll be away for a year. He's gone, but not. He's going to France, take a course, some kind of a course in the French language there. He's a county court judge. He have two little boys, a girl and a boy. They came to see me here on this night before they went. He said he's a fine chap.
Do you have anything yourself, like any old letters or deeds or anything?
Well, now my sisters, she taught. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my sisters and brothers were teachers. They taught here. The pay was very little enough here in Ireland. They went away to the West and they taught the West. I had a brother, then he went to the civil service in Ottawa. He was in it for 40 years. So he retired. That's Robert. And his children, they have a lot of nurses in his family. They come to see me here. They used to come every summer down to the farm where we lived. It was like a great trip for them. I taught them to ride horses and all that kind of work, but I was a farmer.
I see.
And we used to fish. They've got right near the shore. We used to build our own boats, you know.